Do you feel stuck with your weight loss? Do you feel like you're spinning your wheels, that you've been exercising really hard and dieting even harder, but you're not seeing progress? In this video, I'll share with you the most common signs that you need to start reverse dieting. I just got off the phone with a new online coaching client. Michelle's 45 and feels at her wit's end because, in her words, she absolutely cannot lose weight. She's been working out hard for years, been lifting and running. Her diet? Well, Michelle's been really watching what she eats. She's keeping carbs low and calories even lower. She's been eating between 800 and 1200 calories a day for months, except for the times when she feels like her body is rebelling and she eats everything in sight. But for all the hours she's putting in, she's not making the kind of progress she would expect to make for all of this effort. If you feel like your hard work isn't paying off, it's time to make some changes. Just like Michelle, you might need to reverse diet. That's gonna help combat metabolic slowdown, and then you'll actually begin to lose weight. Reverse dieting involves increasing your calorie intake slowly and purposefully over time while we're balancing activities the right way. Women can begin shedding serious extra pounds and even reducing your body fat, even if you've been stuck at it for years. I know it might sound counterintuitive. We've been told that if you eat fewer calories and work out harder, we'll create a significant calorie deficit, and then the pounds should just roll off. But here's the thing, our bodies don't necessarily work that way. There's actually times when you must increase your calories to lose weight. So what are those signs? As an online fitness and nutrition coach, what do I specifically look for? The very first thing I look for are energy levels. Are you feeling generally low in energy? Do you wake up in the morning and maintain energy throughout the day? If you find that you're consistently low in energy, that can be a sign that you're not eating enough to support your metabolic needs. It really has to do with metabolism. So metabolism is that complex biochemical process where converting food and drinks into usable energy. This energy is quantified in calories. And they're important, of course, for maintaining our bodily functions, breathing, blood circulating, cellular repair. We have our resting metabolic rate. Then if you add on physical activities like walking and exercise, or really just any movement you do outside of your base body functions in a day, that's your overall metabolic rate. That rate significantly influences how quickly calories are burned. Things like age, muscle mass, amount of exercise, general movement, or even just your genetics can impact your metabolic rate. If we can identify the factors in your body and your life, that's going to help us manage your calorie intake and know specifically how many calories you need each day. When you're significantly below your resting metabolic rate, you're going to slow down your metabolism, and that leads to a lot of fatigue. If you're not taking in enough calories just to support those basic life functions, you're gonna be tired. It'll be more difficult to hit your workouts hard and to function for your everyday life, not to mention the brain fog you feel. If you're consistently feeling tired, that's a sign that you might not be eating enough calories and it's time to reverse diet. The second sign might surprise you. Are there times when you feel physically overwhelmed by hunger or out of control with your eating? Binge eating is those times where you're eating a lot more than usual. Like you're grabbing a bag of chips and suddenly you're realizing you've eaten the whole thing without meaning to. Or you sit down with a pint of ice cream to have a couple spoonfuls, but before you know it, you're looking at the bottom of the container and it's all gone. That kind of eating, where you overeat on some days, you feel really guilty about it, and then you eat a lot less on other days, that creates this cycle of overeating and undereating, which makes it hard to find consistency and balance. During our call, Michelle shared with me that there's times where she would end up eating over 4,000 calories in a day, and she just feels like she can't stop eating. That's actually a sign that you need to reverse diet. We get caught up in that vicious cycle where we'll go 2 or 3 days of eating very low calories, feeling really proud of ourselves, then we have that rebound day and we feel terrible. That guilt is something that's going to tell you something's not right here. If you feel stuck in that up and down, yo-yoing back and forth, it's going to slow your metabolism down. Not only is it going to prevent you from losing weight, you might actually gain weight. And you may be eating less most of the time, but the days that you're overeating are offsetting the times that you're undereating. Your net calories, they're higher for the week, and that food intake is completely sporadic. So it's overwhelming your digestive system on those binge days. Our bodies don't function with that kind of inconsistency. It's better to raise your daily calories overall from healthy foods and avoid that cycle. Do you daydream about food? Are you scrolling through food pictures and flipping through recipes all the time, feeling overwhelmed by just how much you want that food? Are your days preoccupied with when you're going to get your next meal? The third indicator that you might need to reverse diet is if you find yourself constantly thinking about food and feeling hungry. Women who need to reverse diet find that food is always on their minds, and even after they've just finished eating, they don't feel satisfied. Now, it's important that we differentiate between physical hunger and emotional hunger. And I have a full video on physical versus emotional hunger that you can check out. So I'll put that in the show notes below and won't go into it in too much detail. But physical hunger is the kind of hunger that sticks around. If you're having hunger pains that last for more than 15 minutes after you've distracted yourself and tried other things, I call that physical hunger. It's something you have to pay attention to because your body's telling you it's time to eat. You shouldn't feel overly hungry though, even when you're trying to lose weight. Your body, your hormones are actually telling you it's time to eat. Research shows that when you dramatically cut your calorie intake though, it can mess with your hormone levels, making you feel hungrier and craving more food all the time. That's because a low or inconsistent calorie intake ramps up the production of cortisol, that stress hormone that's tied to increased belly fat and a bigger appetite. When you go super low on calories, the body kicks in signals to make you eat more to avoid starving. Essentially, undereating is going to cause hormone shifts that increase hunger in order to compensate for inadequate calories. So if you're feeling hungry or thinking about food all the time, that's a sign it's time to reverse diet. My final sign that you might be undereating and that it's time to start reverse dieting is if you struggle with sleep. If you find that you're having trouble falling asleep, if you're waking up a lot throughout the night, if you're just not getting overall quality sleep, it may be a sign that you're not actually eating enough. So serious quality sleep impacts weight loss. It creates a vicious cycle, right? Sleep deprivation is going to lead to insulin resistance and weight gain. Why is that? Why does your caloric intake affect your sleep? Well, it has a lot to do with stress and again with our hormones. Low-calorie diets and restricting your food intake increases the stress in your body. This stress triggers the release of hormones, making it more difficult not only to fall asleep, but maintain quality sleep throughout the night. When you don't get enough quality sleep, it disrupts your cortisol levels, throwing your hunger and your satiety hormones like ghrelin and leptin, along with fluxing insulin that regulates blood sugar. This cascade impacts stress, hunger, and metabolism, making your appetite go up and lowering those feelings of actually being full. Now, your stress levels are higher too. Poor sleep is going to contribute to weight gain. It's going to make it harder for your body to process glucose effectively too. Those are signs that it's time to reverse diet. Low energy, binge eating, feeling hungry all the time, and getting poor sleep. Okay, there you have it. Those are the signs that you need to begin reverse dieting. So that reverse dieting is when you're slowly increasing your calories over time with the appropriate amount of exercise. If you found this episode helpful, I would love it if you could hit the thumbs up, subscribe, and get all of my latest content.